Welcome, another edition, the EquinEdge Stakes Preview Show. I'm your host, Justin, here with Oldy. Scotty's taking the night off. I think he was, enjoying time away. But Oldy, how you doing, brother?
Doing pretty well, doing pretty well. I'm the last minute bait and switch for Scotty here, so hope you guys don't mind.
We did good last time you and I went over races. It's a short group of races this week. We only have 10 stakes, everybody, but that's fine. I mean, Tampa Bay has a big weekend, and then Oldie, it's kind of cool because they're kind of scattered throughout all the other tracks. It's like one here or two here.
Yeah, I feel like last year the Pasco, not the Pasco, but the Sam Davis was those turf races we had last week that were grade threes were part of this card. And this year they separated it too in Tampa, but next week's a much bigger week with Risen Star and everything like that. So, there's still some good value to be had here and some good picks. So, still excited about the weekend, and there should be some good quality racing.
Yeah, no, I agree. We had last weekend on the preview show. I know Citizen Bowl we talked about, and we hit the Butchie Reed horse right at Aqueduct, and then we played that also on the stretch run. But yeah, I love doing these stakes races, Oldie, because you can actually hit at a pretty high rate of horses. Because it's a little bit easier, I think, sometimes to handicap a stakes race.
Absolutely, because a lot of times you have more consistent form. So
yeah,
you don't have the big breaks in form like you do in say an 8K claimer. I think there's a horse tomorrow that or not tomorrow, on Saturday, that actually is an 8K claimer running in a stakes race. It may actually have a shot too.
That's funny. All right. Well, everybody, thanks for being here. We got a couple to start at Aqueduct, Oldie, and they're both short fields, right? And I think they're both state bred. You want to pull up your screen real quick, and we will jump in. Thanks everybody for being here. If you have questions, comments, definitely chime in the chat. I always love it. Everybody jumps in. So, Oldie, I looked at this, and there was quite it looked chalky, so I thought it was a 2-horse race. But you tell me what your thoughts were first.
So I agree with you. So my top pick here is the second pick and top win percentage with the top pace, the 2 Sand Devil. Just seems like it's hard to get around this horse with the pace advantage, and it's undefeated. I mean, it was up by 8 lengths in the stretch and ended up winning by 12.5 in the last race. And, it profiles to probably get just as easy of a lead on Saturday. This is just a weak field.
Yeah, I when I first looked, I saw this horse, the 2 Sand Devil, and I thought for sure it had a big look. I ended up landing on the 5 National Identity, so not just it looked like a 2-horse race. I just thought that he raced lap 2 back and won, and then came back and run. That was just a huge race in that stakes race. So in a 72, which is the same group, that actually was open company, and now comes back to state bred. So, but I think the 2's legit. I just thought the 5 it's a nice horse for Danny Gargan, Carmouche rides. So, great GSR. It did look like 2-horse race though to me. So it's kind of like, where do you want to land? Was my perspective.
Yeah, I have the 5 in the second spot. I just think maybe the 5. I mean, it could win here. I don't know how tough. A lot of those New York Sire stakes races were not so great. Not that an 80K allowance optional claim or non-winner 1 is that great either.
Well, but you know,
5-horse field.
Sand Devil pulled away. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but I don't know. It to me, it was between those two. But I land on the 5. Sounds like you're on the 2.
Yep, correct.
All right, LA, what's up, brother? Good to see you, Crypto. I love that. LA always joins the shows, the classes. Good to see you. All right, we're going to race 3.
We are going to race 3. And, in race 3, my top pick here is the 1-horse Naive Melody for Wesley Ward. I was going back and forth here between the 1 and my second choice here as to which one I was going to put on top. But, the combination of the metrics with the top pace, top GSR, top win, and the second pick there, forward here, and the big bump in GSR going up to 7 furlongs there. Those are what put me over the top on the 1. And DeSormo comes in to ride here for Ward as well.
That's how strange is that? Is
Yeah.
Is that strange, or what's that? It's just because Kent gonna ride this horse really fast, or what's the situation?
I think it is strange. I mean, coming in from the West Coast, there's no doubt about that. And doesn't ride for Ward all that often. Didn't ride this horse before, but a lot of the big riders are at Tampa this week. So, maybe there's some sort of jockey agent relationship there that got Kent this ride, but you would think you could just use Kendrick or you could use Manny here. Kendrick's not riding anybody here, so it's odd that DeSormo's riding there. For sure.
Yeah, no, so I thought this. I didn't necessarily like Boston's Finest. I ended up landing on the 4.
Me neither, actually.
Yeah, I landed up on Bernie and the Rose. KD rides, man. I mean, and kudos to her. I actually texted her, Oldy, because I was like, hey, and here's I sent her the race sim, and then I just showed her like some of the metrics. And I mean, she's gonna have to rate because the 1's gonna be fast, man. But when the 1 looks tough, but I don't think there's any other speed, which would be the only maybe issue. But I think she's a nice filly, but I can't blame you for going on the 1. I don't know. I was trying to beat that horse. I really was. It's just gonna be inside, gonna have to be perfect. I mean, I don't know, but I land on the 4.
Yeah, I think the 4 you're going to get more than 3-1 there. I think there's going to be a lot of money put on the 2.
There will
because of the connections.
Yeah,
well.
I mean, I just didn't. I mean, that was only, I think, the 3rd horse we could talk about here. I just didn't think that this was just a great. It's not a great filly here. I just. Yeah,
I don't even think. I mean, this horse has burnt money, or at least did last time. I don't even think this horse has to finish in the money here. I actually like the 5 a little better in terms of the long shot there as a 3rd choice. I did not like the 2 at all in this race. So obviously, I'm hoping the 2 takes a ton of money, though.
Yeah. The 3 horse has had so much trouble at the start. If that horse actually could go to the trouble line, Oldie, if that horse could actually break, it might be competitive. But it just because there's an impressive lot or 2 back to actually win that race after not breaking. But that's the problem, So the 1 I think going to be tough, Oldie. But I'm going to land on the 4. I think maybe. Get a nice price versus that, the 1 gonna be very chalky. So
yeah, and for me, it's 1, 4, 5 in that order.
okay, I'm 4-1. All right, we are going Gulfstream Park.
We are, yes, race 10. The Ladies Turf Sprint Stakes. And I think we both agreed on this one, actually, as I look here. So my top pick here, Justin, was the 8-horse Upon His Hope. It's just too much pace on the front end in a turf sprint. And this horse is classy enough, with wins over 66s and 64s to win a 68 stakes race in terms of the SOR.
Yeah, I did put the 8 on top. I really like the 9 as well. So just know that from that perspective. I think the 9 can run getting off the synthetic, but going back to the 8, Oldie, I mean, I'm with you. Rosario won last out on the lead at Gulfstream, won easy, it was up by 4 lengths and, is one in allowance is the biggest thing versus when you look at the 9 horse. I mean, the 9 has won 2 stakes and won those over at Monmouth and Colonial, right? So I thought that the 9 actually had a big look. I like them both. To be honest, is one or the other to me. I like them both the same, mainly because I didn't love the 7, Oldie. I mean,
and see,
I think
the 7 was my second pick here. I thought maybe 5.5 would be more ideal for the 9. Was my thought.
Yeah, I mean, but it won easy in that handicap last spring. I mean, at Gulfstream. I mean,
carrying 118 pounds, and you don't know what the rest of that field was carrying there in terms of weight.
As a handicap, yeah, that's a good point. I mean, she broke her maiden optional claim. She broke her maiden at 5 at Gulfstream. But no, I agree with you. That's why I thought I ended up putting the 8 kind of slightly ahead of the 9. But and then the 7, you're right, I think is the other player if you want to talk about the 7 at all.
Yeah, so the 7, the top pick there. Second time Brian Lynch, first time out for Lynch. The horse has shown tactical speed, so it can be on the lead. Did go gate to wire at Keeneland at 5.5, which is not the easiest thing to do. Has won at 5 here at Gulfstream. And, last time out in a stakes race against better, rated and won by almost 2 lengths. And Lynch and Saez, the Lynch is 15% second time back. Lynch and Saez too are 29% as a pairing.
Yeah. The Scotty picks have it. My biggest concern here we can watch the race sim. It's a good one. The speed's so dangerous sprinting on the Gulfstream turf, Oldie. I mean, it really is, right? So the 8's out there, the 9, the 7, those others, I cut a lot of them. I didn't see this where it was this rare situation that somebody was gonna come flying, and they're all right there. The 2, I didn't really like the 2.
Really like the 2 either.
Yeah, so I mean, my biggest concern was just all the layoff lines. I mean, she's lightly raced. Is she, last time she came off a win, she dumped the rider, right? So over at Tampa, I mean, but yeah, I mean, Lynch gets her. I mean, maybe that's the trick off George Arnold, to be honest, right? I mean, maybe just gets her at a better spot. I mean, looked like it last time he took her off and she raced really well at Gulfstream, right, in 2023. So, but again, my biggest concern was maybe the layoff lines, but I think it's between those 3. I'm with you.
And, I'll just say on the 2, it seems to me like this horse runs better on synthetic than on turf. And the GSR indicates that as well.
Yeah. No, that's Oldy. You and I handicapped the 2 exactly the same way. I totally agree with you. Looks like synthetic. Eric, the one, well, if you want to hop to the one, I mean, Safi Zayas, these two, horse has only been 5 furlongs once sprinting on the turf.
Yeah.
You know, it's very hard, I would say, Eric, for a horse to close off the speed on the Gulfstream turf like that, and especially going 5. And if you go back to that race in March of 2024 off the layoff, that was a 66, and she nearly got up. I mean, it's not a bad. It would probably be a long shot for play for me, Eric. I don't. I mean, I think it might even hit the trifecta, Eric. I'm not sure she can win, but I could see her improving here because there's a lot of speed up there. So
Yeah.
if somebody's gonna come, I could see it being the one, 100%.
For me, the problem with the one going one turn on that turf is the inside post. Because you're without
Yeah,
speed, you're going to get shuffled back and squeezed so much there that you're going to need an absolute perfect trip out of Zayas there to win from the one post there.
but that's why I think she can save ground and definitely hit the board. But I agree with you, Oldy. I think it's going to be tough for her to win because the speed is pretty classy there up top, whether it's the 7, 8, or 9. But you probably get a good price in your trifecta. But I mean, it's a little bit of a long shot look, but I think tough to win.
Agreed.
All right, we both have the 8. I like the 9. You like the 7, but in a way, I also like the 7. So, my maybe the 1 gets in the try there with those 3. That would
Yeah.
actually pay. That would actually pay pretty good. All right, where are we going?
Oaklawn.
All right, grade 3, the Bayakoa.
Yep.
How's Oaklawn been treating you? You've been covering Oaklawn. How has it been?
It's varied by day. Like some, I mean, where we found a lot of good long shots in the notes, but I'll tell you, some days speed holds and speed that shouldn't be holding is holding, and other days it could be the next day. And there's been no change in weather, nothing that we have been told about the track, either being harrowed or anything like that, or anything added to it. The next day, every horse that wins is swooping around the outside, coming late. So, it's just
What?
very.
And it so the chat's calling it Oldylon.
I termed that term, I think last week.
I like it. I like it. That's what makes that track one of the, if not the hardest oldie in the country, Oaklawn. I think I'm sure that you're gonna figure that track out at some point. But it's a tough one.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely tough. There's a lot of favorites that lose. Um, right now your best bet is to find the Ron McCat horse and bet there. He's been red hot. As well, so is Kenny McPeak. He's winning almost 20% of his races there.
Yeah, he's having a great meet down there. He's
Yeah.
having a good meet at Fairgrounds too. He's running his a lot of his bigger, I think his better horses at Fairgrounds, which there's one here. Or sorry, at Oaklawn, not Fairgrounds, at Oaklawn. But he has a horse in, yep, there you go. So all right. It's one of these, I'm guessing, Oldie, is the 1 or the 6, but what were your thoughts?
So I was definitely torn between those two. I did end up putting the 6 on top for Walsh, who is a graded stakes winner. Um, at 9 furlongs is shortening up to 8.5 here, is 46%. That I do have some questions on the pace numbers in some of these races too. But I think the 6 sits a great trip here. And the real question for me on this horse is just, does the speed stop? But this horse has shown speed too. So, if they need to go, they might go here as well. So the 6 Love, just, it seems like a Captain Obvious pick, but that's where I ended up in terms of the chalk. But I think, I don't know if you agreed there or had a different thought.
I'm gonna put the one on top, Corningstone. I didn't like I didn't like the speed here, Oldie. I don't like Wild About Hillary. I mean, is obviously has a long shot look. Don't get me wrong. I get the pace. I get what could happen here. I really don't like Little Jamie. That horse ran down at Fairgrounds and I thought had no shot now winning. But I'm definitely not getting on that train. It looked like the 1 or 6 going to sit the trip. I think I'm just going to take the inside post over the outer post. Is really just.
Well, I will say the outside posts do better than the inside. So that's the other thing to think about there.
Well, I mean, I looked it up. I mean, they're trying to stock the pace. The inside probably going to be better, or you got to be far outside. But this is a short field, and that's why I worry a little bit about Love. But I don't. I originally put the 6 on top, but I think I'm gonna put the 1, Corningstone. They're both the 6 probably gonna be the favorite, Oldy.
Yeah, and I will say, watch the track earlier in the day, and if you see outrageous speed holding, like 15, 20 to 1 horses holding, then maybe you upgrade the 2 Wild About Hillary there. I mean, the horse does have its shot. It did beat 68s at Fairgrounds going this distance by almost 5.5 lengths, 5.25 lengths, so 5 1/4. So I would not count this horse out, and this horse can rate a little bit too. It does not have to be on the lead, but I would watch the track and see how the track is playing.
I think CJ is sending 100% though, Oldie. Like he been riding down at Fairgrounds and Crypto. Thank you. I love actually covering the video. It's a lot of fun. I talked about that today, and then we had a great day because yes, we did crush the mid pick 3. But CJ could get away here, Oldie. I could totally see it. Like there's a lot of speed here, and if he's gonna get loose on the lead, I didn't really follow him until Fairgrounds, but he rides well on the front end. So, I think is a live long shot. But I was 162 is how I looked at it.
If you're playing a late pick 4, a late pick 3 here, singling the 2 here would not be even if it's not your top choice, just because of the value it might provide into that ticket might be worth, a $30, $40 ticket on a pick 4 or a, let's say a $8 to $12 ticket on a pick 3.
All right, you're on the 6 Loved. I'm on the 1 Corningstone.
Yep. All right, we're going to Anita next. This was a crazy race too, I thought.
Yeah, this is as far as I got. So the last couple I'm going to be handicapping on the fly. So, just making sure we're the right. Let's watch the race sim first. Can we do that on these next few? It'll just help me.
Okay.
And that's for everybody in the chat. Like, that's the first thing I do, Oldie. I watch the race sim and try to understand the pace. But so there's like not a lot of high pace numbers. So is the 4 going to be lone speed? I mean, what?
I mean, I think it could be contentious, but not fast. And Dicey Mochard at the 1 definitely has some speed.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We've covered this horse actually quite a bit.
Yeah. Doesn't win, but has speed. All right.
It's true. Oh for 6. 0 for 6 going 10 furlongs to your point. So go to that's what I love about Race View, only because I love this part of Race View. This tab is incredible.
So my top pick here is a longer shot. I like the 5 at Titland. I'm gonna have to be careful with that one on the show. Who has won at 9, has a grade 2. Didn't run poorly at a mile at a grade 2, but probably too short for the horse last time out. I think we'll be able to get the 10 furlongs here, and gets Barrios, who's an excellent turf rider, and should be able to negotiate a trip here with what not normally you'd look at as tactical speed, but what looks like tactical speed in this race. And it's 10-1 on the morning line, never gone 10 furlongs. And the horses who have gone 10 furlongs, with the exception of the 6, aren't really all that, is what my thought was.
Yeah. Well, go ahead. We're going to say something else.
I was going to say, what about you? Where are you landing here?
Yeah. No, I appreciate it. So, man, I don't like Dicey Mochara. I mean, I think maybe runs a good race. So I'm really looking only to be at the 2. I think the 5, I like your angle. I'm not going to steal your thunder there. That it's get Barrios on the turf. That horse is lightly raced, could improve 100%. You're going to get an amazing price. Gonna have to improve, and then I'm like, okay, well, let's look at the 2, 6, and 8. And so if we look at the top pick, the 6, I mean, won 3 in a row in 70s and 72s, off the pace, off the layoff. Jonathan Thomas. The morning line does not like this horse at all. It's 4-1, but I don't know, maybe the horse floats up. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming this horse is going to take money. Comes way off the pace going long, right? But is cutting back to 10, but has won a race at 10. Broke its maiden at 10 furlongs. So, and then I looked at the 8, Oldy, and I said, okay, D'Amato Frezu, been running, and all those wins in 23, in 68s and 72s, but then hasn't really got there. But is dropping. It's dropping 2 to 4 points. Right? I mean, in Frezu rides, he's great on the turf. He's been riding, though, and not winning. He won 2 from after Frankie, but then Frezu not been winning. And then I looked at the 2, because the morning line angle, Oldy, and it's not in the picks, but it's 34% to win as the top win percent. I mean, hasn't been winning from McCarthy, but why Frankie riding here?
I think we have to start looking at Frankie a little differently, because he just hasn't been winning. And I think we all look at him as the jockey he was 5 years ago.
He's still winning at 14%.
Yeah, but 14% for if you went back 2 years ago when he said he was coming here, would you think that he'd be sitting at 14%?
Probably not. I'd expect him to be an 18 to 20, up there with Juan, and you see Mike Smith riding the 4 here.
I mean, this also isn't the West Coast, riders. That these aren't the deepest locker room either. So he's winning 14% in the kind of a shallow locker room. So that they are 27%, but to me, I mean, that this horse really, you look at the difference between the 8 and the 2, that in similar type races here, and I just don't think the 2 gets there. And that's kind of been the story of the 2, is it just never, since 2022, it hasn't found a way to get there.
I do agree with you on that front. I mean, has struggled to find the winner's circle, has been facing tougher, right? And then, so my main, I mean, did run one effort at 10 furlongs and ran second in a 70 in the John Henry at Santa Anita. From the 10 posts, that's a bigger field. We only have 8 here. I'm gonna land on the 2. I'm putting the 2 in. I think that I worry about the 6 and 8 with the pace a little bit. I'm not sure that what they're gonna do, and that's my concern on the 6 and 8. I almost land on the 6. That'd be my second pick. I'm gonna go with the 2. I think this horse could set a good trip off the speed, the 2, and it's a smaller field. I mean, this horse is dropping an SOR on the 2, so.
Yeah, so I ended up 5-6-8 or 5-8-6 here.
Okay. I like your 5 though. I like your angle there. All right, I'm gonna go 2-5-6.
2-5-6. Okay. And we're going to Turfway Park next.
We haven't got a chance to cover Turfway much on the preview show. They've had a couple stakes, Oldie, but we've had so many to cover, we usually cut them out. And Mark, it's a bummer when that happens. You know, one horse or it just can ruin the day. All right, the what Valdele?
Valdale, maybe. Sure.
All right, let's watch the race then. Wait, have your computer. Oh, it's back.
There we go. Sorry, it does that sometimes when I thought, you could get a Turfway Classic type winner here.
What's that? Speed?
No, not so like a price.
Oh, you're finding the bomb at Turfway. I love that. Jake's been doing a good job there all meet.
Yeah, he's been doing a great job.
I mean, he finds all types of bombs. I'm like, I don't even know how you get to that horse.
So my top pick here is the 6 Grace on Grace at 8-1. Coming late, already has a win at Turfway in a stakes against 62s. This is pretty much a similar field. So we know this horse can get up on synthetic here. Needs to break like it did last time and not like the previous race where it broke 10th to have a shot. But I think this horse has a big look with Dela Cruz aboard and having proven that it likes the synthetic. And really, for me, the 4 and the 1 are going to go really fast, I think, together. And that duel is going to set it up for somebody coming late. And I think it's the 6 is the one that's going to be, that's the true closer here out of those horses.
Man, Oldy, they are going to be absolutely flying. I mean, Edgar Morales is in town to ride My Little Punky, the 1, and the 4 is so John Enos, this horse can be all speed out of the gate. I mean, 1 at Turfway, 2 back in a 64. Like, the 4 is Magic Battle, Wesley Ward Corrales. This horse is going to be gunning it as well. I mean, this pace is going to be insane.
Yeah, that's my thought, and that's why I went with the best closer, the 6 here.
The 7, a maiden.
Yeah, I think this horse has a shot. I'm not going to lie to you. I thought, it got picked up as a long shot. I did not hate it. It was not in my picks, but it was definitely a horse I thought had a shot either underneath or as a classic Turfway bomb there.
I'm putting the 7 on top just because in this race, like, here's why it will be. I mean, has run second in 2 maiden specials, and with all this speed, this horse and has really improved on the synthetic at Turfway. It's not surprising they show up here. And you have all that speed. This horse probably going to just, I would think, try to sit back, and has shown the ability to do it, right? So not win, though, is the problem. But
Yeah.
but because these other horses, I'm not sure what's going to happen with all that speed, Oldie. I'm not sure if the 5 can. I can see why you take the 6, because you're looking at that horse to be the best closer, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I just think that there's enough the type of pace this horse needs in order to win in this race. And, the 5 was my second pick, but I think the 5's going to end up too close to that pace.
Right. Well, yeah, that's
Or be part of the pace. Because, the horse last time out broke 6th against 62s and rushed up on the 5. So, I think the 5 may be more concerned with that, with the 4 and the 1 getting away than the pace duel.
Yeah, Mark, that's good comment on Lasix. I see that. Because I'm not really a fan of the 3, Oldie. I mean, I can't get GSR drops usually can be fine at Turfway, but I just didn't like, and I didn't like the 2. So I'm narrowing. I don't want either one of those speed horses. So it's 5, 6, or 7 for me. You're on the 6, so. Yeah. But I'm worried a little bit about the 5, but Moncada rides. I don't know. It's 5 or 7 for me. I don't know. Not strong preference.
All right. Well, I'm 5. I'm 6, 5, 7 there.
Yeah, I where am I gonna land? I'm gonna go 7, 7, 5, 6.
You're 7, 5, 6. Let's go to Tampa. Stakes spread all throughout the card. Nutella Fella is your favorite here, but I believe. Let's see what I had here. I did have Nutella Fella on top. I am concerned a little bit about whether there's enough pace, though. The works, though, are what kind of put me over the top. And this horse had been running against Grade 1 company before coming off the shelf for Contessa. And I'm just treating the first race off the layoff as a prep race there. Because Contessa's only 9% off a layoff. And then you look at that January 26th work, 1 of 142. So I think this horse is going to be ready to fire here and going to be very, very tough. I do think that there's a possibility that the horse could get beat on the front end, but if that doesn't happen, I think it's likely going to be Nutella Fella, who I think is just a cut above the rest of these.
Mr. Matt Miller came to say hi there, sir. Look at the pace. Hey, Mike.
Yeah. But the race sim doesn't think the 3 is going to get the easy lead that the pace number has it getting, and it'll be more of a duel.
But that's because it's been coming from cheaper races.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
This is the 8K claimer I was talking about, by the way, on the 3.
Oh, yeah. That's a big step up. Like, that's ambitious. 8% for Mr. Wanavila. Kudos to him. They're taking a huge shot.
Well, and and won 3 in a row, but had went from a more than a year layoff to winning 3 in a row, which is pretty impressive. You don't see that happen off those kind of layoffs, but they moved it way, way down. And the fact that it's been in for 16K and 8K to me tells me that they were trying to get rid of the horse a couple times, because it won at 25K and then went back on the shelf for 9 months and came back at 8K. So that seems odd to me. And the horses had trouble staying on the track too.
Man, this is a bit of a brutal stakes race, to be honest.
I just thought there wasn't much here. Besides Nutella Fella. The 4 has burnt a ton of money. Hasn't won since the beginning of last year. And I don't think it's as good of a closer as the 2. And the second pick, the 7 for Bennett, a pretty big step up in class. So I mean, they're really just, to me, maybe the 5's the other one. I was 2, 5, 3 here, but really 2 and 5 were my top 2 picks. The 5 does have a win over 70 SORs.
Yeah, I was looking at the 5 with the morning line there, Oldie. I mean, 1-2 back in the 62 at 6.5, has 1 at 6 at Gulfstream. Stocking the pace. That's where I think that's where I'm going to land. I mean, Paco rides for Fox. I mean, it has won versus tougher and has won kind of easily and has all these races at Tampa and Gulfstream. So been really competitive and last out in the 70, almost won, cuts back to 6. So I'm going to take the 5.
All right. To me, those are the 2 logical horses. So
yeah, I was trying to I appreciate getting to go through it. I was trying to like the 1, but I couldn't quite get there.
I like the name.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah. All right, we're still at Tampa.
Yep. So I was 2, 5, 3 there, and you were.
Go back real quick. Go back to 5. No, Mr. Matt, we weren't. I just had to. There was a couple of these races I didn't get a chance to handicap, so I had to do it real quick on the fly. Hey, the horse was 8%, man. You gotta make sure that something wild isn't going on here. So I would be 5. Yeah, I would be 5. Probably 7-2 would be how 5-7-2-1. But okay.
All right. Race 6, the Minaret Stakes. So here, you may remember my top pick here, the 4 Nick Style, because we both like this horse.
Yeah.
On Pegasus Day, and it scratched out of the race.
Yep.
So Nick Style, the 4, is a Belmont horse, tactical speed, 1, 5. I'm sorry. Yeah, 5 of 6. I can't count here. The morning line loves it. It's your first pick, second win percentage here. If I run the race sim too, you'll see it just kind of sits off the 3, who's cheap. Who I organized by number here, you would have seen that more, but and then it's just a matter of holding on there. But I actually didn't really like the 6 all that much, who's the second pick, but the 4 Nick Style was definitely my top pick there.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, Oldy, on the 4. When I briefly looked at this race and the next one, as I spent a little bit of time, those were the 2 I did in advance, and I mean, it won 5 of 6, man. I
Yeah.
mean, she's a nice horse as a 5-year-old, placed, I think, really well for Ma. I mean, they has won at 6 at Saratoga, won easy in a 66. Has been running at 7, but I don't think the cutback will be any type of issue with, there's some pace there, but she can sit just a perfect trip, on the lead, off the lead, very super versatile, right? The last 2 wins, I mean, that was impressive in 72 and 76s and one easy. So, yeah, I'm with you.
All right, and then under my second choice, actually, instead of the 6, my second choice is the 5 here, Ruthless Rua,
Hmm.
who has had won 3 in a row going into the last race at Gulfstream, was facing 72s there. Another horse that's tactical, and this was the race that I had some questions on the pace number, because I don't think the 5 and the 4 are really that close to going to be that close to the pace of the cheaper speed with the 3 and the 1 there initially. Um, so for me, the 5 was the long shot. I think you're going to get some value there as a second pick. Maybe a great exacta, just a 4 or 5 exacta there.
Yeah, I mean, won 3 of 4.
Yep.
I mean,
From
just
such a young
and ran was bumped at the start last out at Gulfstream too, Oldie. So ran a big race. I could for sure see the 5 running. I would agree.
And then my third horse here was the 8, who I'm not going to even attempt to pronounce that name. For Delgado, I mean, has been in against some really classy horses at Keeneland and Saratoga, just wasn't good enough. But does have a win at 6 furlongs against 72s at Gulfstream.
Yeah, lightly raced for sure.
And I think second off the layoff for Delgado, I think has a shot here, or a shot to finish in the money. For me, the 6 Dazzling Blue, and that I've been waiting to say this to you all day, Justin, but this is the literal dictionary definition of a money burner.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only reason why I landed on the 4 because I mean, the last 2 races, and you could say 3 maybe, but definitely 2 has burned a lot of money. Like, because that's at this level, the 72 and a 74, both allowance. I mean, they were tough allowance, obviously. So it's very similar to the stakes race, but just totally didn't win. I mean I actually think this horse probably has a shot, but I like the 4 so much more just because of this. Um, but I mean Pratt rides, so I mean he's gonna improve this horse. It would be my opinion. So that'd be my biggest. I mean, it 100% has burned
Pratt's
a
ridden the
lot.
horse before, and it didn't win with Pratt aboard before.
Yeah, yeah. No, I see that back at Belmont. I mean, in the grade 386 SOR, but
But it just seems like it breaks a little slow and then runs the same race. Like it might be just one paced.
yeah. All right, I'm 4-6. Uh, I'd say 5. You're 4-5-6.
I'm 4-5-8 there.
Oh, 4-5-8. Okay. All right. What do we have? 2 more?
2 more.
Yes. All right.
All
Chris, you
right.
had 4 and 8. Let the 6 be you. Yeah, I like the 4 a lot there, so we'll see.
All right. So the Suncoast Stakes, which is a Oaks points race. And, you know, to me, the fact that there aren't high value pletchers in either the Suncoast or the Sam Davis really shows the weakness of his barn this year with 3-year-olds.
Yeah, that's valid, Oldie. You follow that a lot better than I do, but yeah, you don't see it at all, right?
Yeah, I mean, he pretty much owns the Sam F. Davis historically.
There's no Cox here. There's no McPeak. Whitworth Beckham got one, and then some Cassie, some Hardy, Barbosa.
Or as I call him, JD Wentworth.
All right, let's watch Race Sim first.
All right.
We're gonna have to talk to Brad to get us the ones where the legs move.
We need some like music or sound in the race, and I've always thought that.
That's what I was saying. It's like the old Sigma Derby. Anybody who has played that, we might have to check that out when we're at NHC, Oldie. It's a good game. They only have it in one casino now. It's all the way down at the D downtown, but it's got like the music. Well, not music. It's like a heartbeat sound. Actually, it's not great, but you could come up with something great here. The 6 wins the race sim.
And I really thought this is probably a 2-horse race as well. So I settled on the 6, who wins the race sim, for Cassie. Dylan Davis comes in to ride. This horse didn't run in the juvenile fillies. I mean, ran, but didn't run. But, showed that the horse could win on the lead or off the lead previously. Gets the class relief here. Cassie is an excellent trainer of fillies. I think that this horse, is one of 2 for me that in this race that I thought had a big shot.
Yeah, I ended up on the 4. Her laugh. I mean, she ran down at Fairgrounds, Oldie. I rad here and I rad rides here, and she got controlling speed. Doesn't have to be on the lead. I thought she could be really dangerous. Remember watching her run down at Fairgrounds. Went 2 turns, won fine, ships in. Whitworth Beckman's had. I mean, I see him a lot down at Fairgrounds, but he has some nice horses. I'm assuming he's a younger trainer. I don't know him super well, but I've definitely got to know him at Fairgrounds. But I thought she would be tough here.
Yeah, for me, I thought it was just the 4 and the 6 were the 2 that I liked here. I didn't get the 3, who's 45% Italian Soiree here at all. Low. The GSR is a little low. They've been running it on turf probably for a reason because they thought it was a turf horse, and they're just taking a shot here in my mind. Does get Pratt, but other than that, the horse just hasn't run well. So for me, it was just those 2, the 6 and the 4. And then since there was a 3rd spot, I picked the 1 for Hardy underneath, but this may be a turf horse as well. Win on turf, win on synthetic. And I'm not super excited about Jesus Castanon riding either there.
The 2. Go back to the 3.
Yes.
I mean, this horse is facing easier off the Keeneland. They took blinkers off there, and they add them back. This would be my 3rd pick. I would be 4-6-3.
All right. And
I mean, I could see the 3 improving on the stretch out on dirt though, Oldie, and that I think it'd be a good price. But Brett,
don't you think they thought this horse was a turf horse? Why will
I mean, they did, but maybe they figured it out because they tried to put blinkers on or tried to take them off last out on the turf. And then, but you look at the first out effort, sprinted really well in the dirt. And when you go back to the Saratoga race, I mean, the GSR goes up. She definitely wants 2 churns. So,
but I'm just going to point out was the favorite in the Adirondack
no, I know.
and got
I get it.
crushed. So
Well, I mean, who was in that race? I'm assuming there's some beast that anybody know who was in the Adirondack last summer. I mean, won by 9 lengths.
yeah,
So
they have won by 9 lengths though because there was no other horse that was all that good. And if you look, from a class standpoint, the 6 is getting class relief as well. Was in the Breeders'
yeah,
Cup.
no, I agree.
Colors.
Yeah. No, and I'm just saying, I don't think you can necessarily knock the 3. I mean, I think she could still improve moving back to the dirt versus the turf going 2 churns. So, but I'd be 4-6-3.
4-6-3. All right, and I am 6-4-1.
Okay.
The Sam F. Davis.
Oh, this is the last one then. All right. That was pretty. We did this in about an hour.
Yeah. The Derby points, I believe this is a 20-point race. All right, so or 20 for the winner. Let's start the race, Sim. This was a confidence play for me. My price play of the day on Saturday here. I'll just tease that and then I'll tell you who the horse is in a minute.
Price play of the day. It's probably the 2.
You're ruining my teaser there.
Yeah, it was. I didn't know that. I didn't. I promise you. I swear I didn't. Oh, the Queen's MG, Mark. I like that you found that. We talked about her last weekend. She didn't run an awful race, but that's interesting. I appreciate you looking that up. Oh, Chris, I see you both said that. Thank you. Sorry, Oldy, I did steal your thunder, but so tell us about this horse then.
So Treaty of Rome, the 2 horse, and 6-1 on the morning line, 11%. I think it's going to sit an absolute perfect trip and get a perfect setup here for Chad Brown. Last time out didn't quite get up in the Mucho Macho Man, but note my note on this horse is longer, ? And look at the GSR goes from 76 to 87 here. So I thought this horse was a longer 2-turn horse all day and comes in here in a race that looks like it's loaded with pace and should sit a perfect trip. And at Tampa, you want to be, well, let's say post 1 through 6, maybe post 1 through 7. So, gets one of the prime posts as well there. So, and again, Dylan rides there. I think you're going to get a great trip. And, I think this horse wants all of that 8.5 furlongs. What about you, Justin?
Yeah. Let's go back to the race sim. Crypto Oldy Crypto asking about your notes.
My notes for Tampa are not on the platform, but my notes will be in tomorrow morning for Oaklawn.
Oh, you should. Is somebody going to do Tampa?
I was going to talk to Scotty about whether I could do Tampa instead of Oaklawn on Saturday.
No, yeah, I'm sure I'm sure he can be all for it. Somebody needs to do it. So crypto, it sounds like Oldie gonna do it probably, which will be good. Cause
Yeah, but I
you
just don't want
play
to announce that till it's been approved.
no, yeah, I get it, but I mean, um I would nobody covers it, so I mean it shouldn't
Yeah.
be you play enough Tampa, it makes sense. So I like your angle on the two, Oldie. Um I
You can agree with me if you want here. It's okay.
Well, I'm trying to decide like why the morning line don't like the six so much, and then I'm trying, and then so there is a lot of speed. I agree with you. My goodness. I mean, I think narrowed to the 2, 6, 7, and 8 is I think how I looked at this.
And I agree on the 2, 6, and 7. I do think that there is the possibility that this 3 could be a monster um, with Pratt for Cox, but I narrowed to beyond the 2 to the 7 and the 3 as my underneath picks there.
I'm gonna land on the 2 with you. I like your angle. Um, Especially versus this group. I don't necessarily like the 6, 7, and 8 a ton, or the 3. I mean, that's gonna be hard for the 3 to win this, but I agree with you. But I'm gonna land on the 2 with you. Um, I would be 2, 6, probably 3, 8.
Pop in here, guys. I'm all in with Gerald Bennett here on the 8. There's a lot of noise here. Local Tampa person. Know a few people at the track and whatnot. This horse is primed for this race. This is like Gerald's like trying to get to the Derby horse. So the horse does well. He will enter this horse in the Tampa Bay Derby, trying to get to the Kentucky Derby, but lots of good stuff here with this 8 horse. Scotty Longshot. Um, this horse is, as I look up here, Naughty Rascal. I mean, he's 4 for 6 with a second and a third. So horses hit the board all the way around. Morning line 6-1, E morning line 7-1. I get that the sore is good. It's right around that range and whatnot, but I just think that this one could be a player. And I get that it's bottom GSR.
I mean, why I discounted this horse was I just don't think it wants 2 turns.
No,
At 7
I
furlongs.
talked to 7 people today that were like, this horse is going to love 2 turns. So
At 7 furlongs, I mean, it lost that race by almost 5 lengths. It got put up by a DQ.
sure.
And, that's the GSR says it doesn't want longer. That most of the top numbers are all, and I get it that there's value there.
The 10 is, or the 10 furlong have the top number. I mean, that's the
But I kind of
biggest
throw that
question.
out in that situation because that looks like it's out of place. Looks like it's just we don't run 10 furlongs that often, so it's a small sample size.
Yeah.
It could,
And
it
I will
could
not
be.
be attending Scott C on that day. I'll be here on with these 2 fine gentlemen going over those races. So I'll be here at home. But I can just tell you that there's a lot of buzz locally on that
Okay.
horse. I would certainly check the toe board. The toe board will tell you a lot when that race comes live, but it's certainly a horse I'm definitely going to use.
Okay. Let me real fast. One other horse I noticed when handicapping here, just to watch for, is that's a little odd here in this maiden special weight is the 14, the AE with IRAD aboard
Wait,
for
where
sure.
you went?
I'm skipping the race time just to point a horse out to everybody. If this horse gets in, to not forget about it.
Don't you forget about me.
IRAD is not on another horse, so this is not a situation where he's.
No,
gonna
he's on the 7.
Is he on the 7? I don't have
Yeah.
that. Okay,
Yeah.
so maybe that's the
You
mistake.
totally missed my 80s song reference.
I did hear "Don't You Forget About Me," but I'm not
Yeah.
allowed to sing. So,
You were not. That's a Breakfast Club reference, but
yes.
simple minds.
All right, so back to the Tampa Derby real fast, or not Tampa Derby, the Sam F. Davis. I was 237 there, and you are 2638, correct?
Yes. Yep.
I'm 8 all the way.
And Chris is going to eat the 8 like he's serving dinner.
That's right, buddy.
Serving dinner, eating dinner. That would make way more sense. But
Fun fact has something to do with horse racing. Oldie and I had our first work call today between who I work for and who Oldie works for, that I never thought would happen in a million years. So that was fun. Talking about printing.
You had a day job meeting together?
Yes, we did. We did.
That's funny.
I was just putting him with his team, so because he's having some issues that they can help solve, and that they'll do a great job for him. So
yeah, and I won't be working with Oldie because of professional.
But we have some of the tightest ethics and business conduct rules, and I'm just not allowed to do it.
But it was super cool to be on a call with Oldie today during the work day and talking about work stuff. And then there was a few pivots to like, I don't think I could be as good as analyst as Oldie is on Saturdays. And, for what you guys do, because they know what we do. And we're not going to give away who we work for and whatnot, but it was quite comical, but I think we can get some help there. And, happy to work with Oldie's team to get that stuff done. But coaching class tomorrow night, go to EquinEdge.com and sign up. We will be live at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Road to the NHC tomorrow, 11:30 a.m. Eastern time with Scotty and David Harrison. To be announced stretch run show on Saturday. We're going to figure that out once we sign off tonight when we start. And you guys killed it tonight. Justin, you were just destroying fairgrounds.
Yeah.
If I didn't have like 7.5 hours of meetings tonight today to like put all that stuff in, I would have cashed a boatload. But I did hit 2 ping pong bets tonight, Hard Rock bets, so that's all good. I know that's funny to you all, but it's good stuff. And we've got contest weekend coming up here with Twin Spires. People trying to win entries into the Kentucky Derby Breeders' Cup Betting Challenge. Yes.
Not Breeders' Cup Betting Challenge, just Betting Challenge.
Kentucky Derby Betting Challenge. Yes, you're right.
Yes, Mike. Thank you. I'm glad Mike crushed it, though. Yes, and Fairground's been hot. If I cover it every day, so it's usually out. I try to get out a couple hours before post time. Is always the goal. So, and if you're an EquinEdge user, there's always analysis in there. But we do a daily video. I love doing that video. Today. I talked about it, and then look what happened. It just makes me focus. It makes me focus, and I just cover one track, and it's actually made me a much better. Kudos to Matt Miller. Learned a lot from that guy, but focusing on one track forces me to be a better player, I would tell you. And I like sharing it with everybody. I love when people win. I mean, that's the best part. So
yep, we got the Road NHC tomorrow, and then Justin and Oldy will be live at the NHC. I will be anchoring from home, and looks like we're going to Keeneland for the Grade 1 gamble as well. Oldy.
Oh, I just want to remind everybody, road to NHC tomorrow, make sure you give David crap. First of all, David's a great guy. I love David, but make sure you give him crap for losing his little bet with me that he made in the chat last week for the weekend preview on Ferocious. So don't forget to give David some crap and just have some fun with him tomorrow.
Don't you forget about giving David crap tomorrow. Sing that song by the Simple Minds.
All right, y'all. Pleasure. Have a good weekend. We'll be back soon. Thank you, Bluegrass, and everybody else. Have a good weekend.